When a man truly loves a woman, one of the clearest signs during lovemaking is how he slows down, not just in the physical sense, but emotionally and energetically. This doesn't just mean taking his time with foreplay or dragging out the act itself. It's a whole shift in intention. He's not rushing toward a goal. He's not performing. He's not just trying to prove anything. He's genuinely present. Every movement, every glance, every breath is guided by connection, not completion. When there's no deep emotional bond, sex can become mechanical, even if it's technically good. There's a rhythm, sure, there's passion maybe, but it moves fast. It's about stimulation and climax, about tension and release. In contrast, when a man loves deeply, the pace naturally slows because he's not looking to escape the moment. He's looking to live in it. He wants to feel everything, to notice every expression on your face, every reaction in your body. He's not looking for the shortcut to pleasure. He's focused on the journey. This kind of slowness doesn't mean the physical experience is any less passionate. In fact, it often becomes more intense. Why? Because that emotional depth creates a sense of safety, trust, and openness that allows both partners to be fully present. A man in love isn't afraid to pause, to just look at you, to hold eye contact a little longer, to breathe with you. That eye contact alone says everything. It says, I see you. Not just the body, not just the surface, but the woman, the whole woman. And in that moment, she knows she's not being consumed, she's being honored. He notices things others might miss, the way you gasp a little differently when you're overwhelmed, the subtle arch of your back, the moment your breath catches because you're lost in sensation. He's reading your body like a language because he cares about understanding it, not just reacting to it. He's not on autopilot. He's fully engaged, adjusting in real time to what makes you feel safe, what makes you feel desired, what makes you feel loved. Emotionally, he's slower too. He's not trying to hide behind jokes or performance anxiety. He's not trying to act like some movie version of a great lover. He's being real. He's with you, emotionally naked, not just physically. He'll say things he means. He won't rush into words just to sound romantic. He'll wait, let the silence speak, or say something raw and unscripted. There's no ego here, just presence. And when you're in that moment with a man who loves you, time actually starts to feel different. It slows down with him. There's a rhythm, yes, but it's not a beat he's forcing. It's a rhythm he's creating with you. You'll feel like you're being listened to without words, like your body has a voice and he's listening with everything in him. This slowing down is a reflection of something deeper, respect. He respects your experience. He honors it. He's not here to take something from you. He's here to share something with you. And that sharing can't be rushed. It deserves time. It demands attention. And it only shows up when the love is real. So yes, when a man loves you, lovemaking becomes a space where he slows down, not because he has to, but because he wants to. Because in your presence, there's nowhere else he'd rather be. When a man is truly in love, one of the most telling signs during lovemaking is how attuned he becomes to your needs, how deeply he shifts from pursuing his own pleasure to prioritizing yours. This isn't about performing or ticking boxes off a checklist. It's not about trying to be good in bed because he wants a good review afterward. It's about the fact that your experience matters to him. It matters deeply. It's not enough for him to enjoy the moment. He needs to know that you feel safe, seen, and satisfied. This shift can be subtle, but it's powerful. When a man loves you, his ego takes a back seat. He's not chasing validation through sex. He's not trying to prove how skilled or dominant or passionate he can be. What he's doing instead is paying attention. You can see it in how often he checks in with you, sometimes with words, sometimes just with his eyes or his energy. He's reading your reactions not because he's worried about how he's doing, but because he genuinely cares how you're feeling. He becomes curious about what brings you pleasure, not what he assumes you like, not what worked with someone else, and not what he saw in a movie. He wants to learn you. This means he asks, not in a cold, mechanical way, but with a softness and a desire to understand. He might say, "Do you like this?" or "Tell me what feels good." But beyond the words, he listens. And when you show him what you like, through words, movements, sounds, he responds, adapts, shifts. That attentiveness also shows up in how he handles your boundaries. A man who loves you doesn't push, he doesn't pressure. If something doesn't feel right to you, that's the end of the conversation. Not only does he respect that boundary, he appreciates it, because your comfort matters to him more than satisfying an impulse. And honestly, that's love in its most intimate form. Honoring your limits without resentment, without guilt, without making it about him. Another layer to this is emotional safety. If he loves you, he's thinking about your mental state, not just your physical one. He wants you to feel emotionally secure in the experience. That means no judgment, no criticism, no commentary that could make you feel self-conscious or ashamed. Instead, he creates an environment where you can let go, where you can be raw, vulnerable, messy, loud, soft, whatever version of yourself that shows up in that moment. There's also generosity in how he gives. It's not about returning the favor or balancing the scales. It's about wanting you to feel good for the sake of it. He gets genuine joy from seeing you lose yourself in pleasure. He finds satisfaction in knowing he's part of that for you. Not because it boosts his ego, but because it deepens your bond, because it tells you in a language that doesn't require words, you matter. I want this to be as beautiful for you as it is for me. And here's the truth. When a man is only in it for himself, you feel it. The connection is surface level. You can sense that he's only present when he's receiving. But when a man is in love, he brings himself to the moment completely. He wants the experience to be shared, not just performed. He wants you to feel held, valued, and adored in the process. And that kind of presence, the way he tunes in to your needs over his desires, is something only love can bring out. When a man is truly in love, something profound happens during intimacy. He lets his walls down. He allows himself to be vulnerable, not just physically exposed, but emotionally open. This is one of the clearest signs that what he feels for you isn't casual, performative, or surface level. It's deep, it's real, and it's brave. Most men are taught consciously or unconsciously to keep a certain emotional mask on, especially during sex. They're expected to stay in control, to perform, to always appear confident, powerful, and put together. But when a man truly loves a woman, that facade starts to dissolve in private moments. He's not trying to look perfect. He's not trying to impress. He's not trying to hide the parts of him that feel unsure, scared, or soft. Instead, he reveals more of who he really is. You'll see it in the way he expresses emotion, not through dramatic declarations, but through authenticity. Maybe it's a whisper of something honest that slips out when he's looking at you. Maybe it's the way his voice cracks when he says something that matters. Maybe it's in the way he pauses, not because he doesn't know what to do, but because he's overwhelmed by how much he feels. That vulnerability could look like him admitting he's nervous, even if you've been together for a while. It might be him opening up about past insecurities or fears in the quiet stillness after sex. It's the courage to say, I love you, without knowing how you'll respond. It's the strength to ask, are you okay? Even when everything seems fine on the surface, because he cares about what's underneath. He doesn't hide behind bravado. He brings himself, flaws, fears, tenderness, and all into the moment with you. And it's not just what he says, it's how he behaves. When a man loves you, he becomes emotionally naked long before, during, and after you become physically naked. He might hold you a little tighter, not because he needs to, but because it soothes something inside him. He might look at you longer than expected, not in a way that objectifies, but in a way that adores. You'll sense the layers in his silence, the things he can't quite say yet, but he's letting you feel. Because when a man truly loves, he stops needing to protect his ego and starts wanting to protect the connection. This level of vulnerability also comes with trust. He trusts you enough to not use his softness against him. He trusts that he can show up as himself, fully human, and be met with care, not judgment. That's what real intimacy is. Not just skin on skin, but soul meeting soul, unguarded. When a man feels safe to be emotionally exposed with you during such a tender act, it means he sees you not just as someone he desires, but as someone he trusts with his truth. It's easy to fake passion. It's impossible to fake vulnerability. It takes real love for a man to show you not just his strength, but his fragility. And if you've seen this in him, this quiet unraveling, this openness that he doesn't share with the world. You've seen a kind of love that runs deeper than words. You've seen a man not just loving you, but letting you love him back. When a man's love is real, what happens after lovemaking speaks volumes, often more than what happens during. Because when the intensity fades, when the rush quiets, when bodies relax and breath returns to normal, what he chooses to do next reveals everything about his emotional depth. A man who loves you doesn't disappear into silence. He doesn't emotionally detach or retreat into himself. He stays. He stays present not because he has to, but because he wants to. That's what we call aftercare, and it's one of the purest expressions of genuine love. Aftercare isn't about a specific routine. It's not some checklist of behaviors. It's about how he holds you physically, emotionally, and mentally in the moments that follow vulnerability. When a man is only interested in sex for gratification, his energy tends to fall off once he's satisfied. He might roll over, he might reach for his phone, he might get up, distracted, distant, emotionally unavailable. You feel it, that jarring shift, like the connection suddenly vanished the moment the goal was reached. But when a man is truly in love, that's the beginning of another layer of connection. After lovemaking, he's not in a rush to move on. He lingers, not just physically, but emotionally. He touches you with tenderness, not urgency. He might pull you into his chest, play with your hair, kiss your forehead, or just wrap his arms around you in silence. It's in those small, quiet gestures where love shows up with incredible clarity. Even more than touch, it's about presence. A man in love doesn't let the emotional thread break. He wants to know how you're feeling. He'll ask if you're okay, not out of obligation, but from a place of real concern. He's attuned to your energy and he'll match it. If you need silence, he'll hold it with you. If you need laughter, he'll create space for that. If emotions surface, even unexpectedly, he'll stay right there with you. Not fixing, not judging, just being. This kind of aftercare builds trust. It tells you you're not just here to meet my needs. I'm here to meet yours too, even the ones you don't say out loud. It shows you that the intimacy wasn't a transaction, it was a shared emotional space. And when a man is still connected after, that's when you know he sees you as more than a body. He sees you as his person. Sometimes it's in the way he initiates those moments of closeness without needing to say anything. Other times it's in what he says after, those vulnerable, affectionate, even playful remarks that make you feel loved and safe. He might talk about how much he missed you that day. He might express how lucky he feels. He might just say, that felt really special. And you'll know he means it beyond the physical. What matters most is that he doesn't vanish emotionally once the peak passes. Instead, he lets the moment stretch. He lets it breathe. Because love doesn't clock out when the act is over. It lingers. It deepens. It anchors itself in those quiet, unguarded moments when nothing is expected and everything is felt. And here's the truth. How he holds you afterward is how he holds the relationship. With care, with consistency, with heart. When a man loves you, what he does after will never leave you wondering where you stand. It'll leave you feeling chosen, even in the stillness. When a man is deeply in love, there's one unmistakable shift in the way he connects with you during lovemaking. He maintains eye contact and he slows everything down. Not just his movements, but the entire energy of the moment. It's as if time bends for him. He's not just having sex. He's communicating with every inch of his being, and what he's saying without a single word is, I'm right here with you. I see you. I'm not going anywhere. This kind of slowness doesn't come from hesitation or inexperience. It comes from reverence, from depth, from love. He's not racing to a finish line because the moment is the reward. When love is involved, urgency fades. He's not driven by impulse. He's guided by connection. Every movement becomes deliberate. Every touch feels like a message. And at the center of it all is eye contact, that wordless conversation that speaks louder than anything said aloud. When a man loves you, he wants to look at you, And not just when things are hot and heavy. He wants to lock eyes with you in the middle of everything. And not for dominance, not to turn you on as some power move, but to ground you, to say with his gaze, you're safe, you're beautiful, you matter to me. There's something deeply vulnerable about holding eye contact during intimacy. It's raw. It's intense. It exposes emotion in a way words never can. A man who's not emotionally connected will often avoid it. He might close his eyes, look away, or focus on the physicality of the act, because eye contact brings him too close to feeling something deeper. But a man in love leans in. He seeks it out because for him, it's not just about bodies touching. It's about souls meeting. It's such a lie. This doesn't mean he stares at you nonstop. It's more natural than that. But the moments when your eyes meet, unbroken, unguarded, are the ones where everything else fades away. It's just you and him, breathing in sync, moving together, connected on every level. And in those glances, you don't just feel wanted, you feel known. That slowing down too is part of this emotional choreography. Love brings patience, it brings intention. He's not in a rush to get there because he's not chasing an outcome. He's savoring the experience. He's honoring you with his presence. He's paying attention not just to what feels good, but to what feels right. He's reading your body, your breath, your energy, and adjusting, not because he's trying to perform, but because he's responding to you. When a man is in love, he doesn't just touch you, he listens with his touch. He listens with his eyes. He listens with stillness. The way he slows down is his way of telling you, there's nowhere else I need to be. This is enough. You're enough. And the beauty of it, you feel the emotional difference. It's not about technique. It's about truth. You know he's not doing this for the sake of being romantic. He's doing it because he genuinely wants to connect with you. That kind of energy can't be faked. It's either there or it's not. And when it is, you'll feel it in the way he touches you, but even more in the way he looks at you. Because when a man loves you, he doesn't just make love to your body, he makes love to your presence. And that changes everything. When a man truly loves you, lovemaking becomes more than a physical experience. It becomes an emotional mirror. One of the clearest signs that his love is real is that he becomes emotionally expressive during and after intimacy. He lets his feelings spill through in ways that feel unfiltered, honest, and sometimes even surprising, because love doesn't stay quiet when the heart is full. It speaks, and often it speaks loudest in these moments. This emotional expression might not always come as a grand romantic declaration, though sometimes it does. More often, it's the vulnerable, unrehearsed kind of talk that escapes him in those raw moments. Things he might never say during the day or in a casual conversation come pouring out when he's in your arms, when his guard is completely down. That's when you'll hear the truth, not the curated version, but the one that's real and intimate. He might say things like, I've never felt this close to anyone before, or you make me feel safe. These aren't pickup lines, they're emotional confessions, pieces of his inner world that he trusts you enough to share. And sometimes it's not even in full sentences. It could be a whispered, I love you, that feels different from the ones you've heard before. He says it with a different kind of weight, like it's rising up from his chest and demanding to be said, right there in that moment. You may notice that his language changes. It becomes softer, more affectionate, even poetic, without meaning to be. He might call you things he doesn't normally say. Baby, my love, you're everything. Not to impress you, but because that's genuinely how he sees you in that moment. It's like the love in his body finds its way to his mouth, and it becomes impossible for him to keep it in. There's also something very telling about how freely his emotions move through him. He's not afraid to cry if something inside breaks open. He's not afraid to admit fears or dreams right in the quiet of that intimacy. If something touches him deeply, he won't pretend it didn't. He's not holding back to stay in control. He's letting go to stay honest. This kind of emotional openness is rare, and it's powerful because it tells you one thing loud and clear. He trusts you. He trusts you enough to let the walls come down, to stop protecting his image and to just be a man in love, vulnerable, open, and human. And that kind of expression during intimacy is not something he gives lightly. It's reserved for the person who holds his heart. He may also express future-facing feelings, subtle references to wanting a life with you, phrases like, "I can't imagine not having you," or "I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be." These aren't lines meant to charm. They're emotional truths that rise to the surface when he's in his most unguarded state. Even the way he listens during these moments becomes more tender. If you speak, he listens like every word matters. If you cry, he holds you like your pain is his. If you laugh, he lets himself laugh too, fully. Because emotional expression isn't just about speaking, it's about receiving, about creating space for your emotions as much as he shares his own. And when a man reaches this level of emotional expression during intimacy, it's not just his heart you're feeling, it's his soul. And that's something he gives only when his love is real, lasting, and fully alive.